Picture this. You're in a luxury car dealership. Two people are buying the exact same $100,000 car. The first person walks in, loves the car, and decides to buy it. They've worked hard, saved up, and they have $100,000 in cash sitting in their bank account. They write a check, they drive off the lot feeling like a king. The purchase is done. They own it. The second person walks in, loves the same car, and decides to buy it. They have $10 million in assets. They call their banker, they arrange a loan. They put maybe $20,000 down, finance the rest at a low interest rate, and drive off the lot. From the outside, it looks identical. Two people, same car, same smile. But underneath, these are two completely opposite financial transactions. One is an act of consumption. The other is a strategic move on a balance sheet. One makes them poorer. The other, well, it might just make them richer. Here's the quiet truth nobody says at the dealership. For the truly wealthy, a car payment isn't an expense. It's a tool. Let's unpack the first buyer, the cash buyer. They've just performed what we're all taught is the smart, responsible thing. They avoided debt. They paid in full. But what actually happened? They took $100,000 of liquid capital, money that could work, could earn, could be deployed, and they converted it into a rapidly depreciating asset. The moment that car rolls off the lot, it loses a chunk of its value. In 5 years, it might be worth $40,000. They have essentially taken $100,000 of productive capital and transformed it into a liability that costs insurance, maintenance, and loses value every single day. They didn't make a payment, they executed a liquidation. Now, let's look at the second buyer, the millionaire with the loan. They still have their $100,000. Well, not exactly. They used a tiny fraction of it as a down payment. But the bulk of their capital, it's still in the game. It's in stocks, in bonds, in private shares of a business, in real estate. It's earning. Let's say conservatively it's earning 7% a year. They borrow $80,000 from the bank at, let's say, 5%. They now have a car payment. But do this math with me. Their $100,000, which they didn't spend, is earning 7%. That's $7,000 a year in potential growth. The $80,000 loan costs them 5%. That's $4,000 a year in interest. Their net position? They're up $3,000 a year for having taken the loan, and they got the car. The car payment in this context isn't a drain. It's the cost of keeping their productive capital intact and working. The spread between what their money earns and what their debt costs pays for the car. But it gets more interesting. Because the wealthy don't think of the car as a car. They think of it as a line item. Imagine you own a factory. The factory has machines. You need a new machine that costs $100,000. Do you empty the factory's bank account to buy it? Of course not. You finance it. You calculate, will this machine help the factory produce more, earn more? If yes, you get a loan for the machine, and the factory's increased cash flow services the loan. The machine pays for itself. The wealthy person looks at their entire financial life as that factory. Their investment portfolio is the production floor. The car, it's a machine that provides transportation, comfort, maybe even business credibility. A utility that supports the operator of the factory, them, so they can focus on managing the assets. So they finance it at the lowest possible rate to ensure the main factory floor, their capital, is never cannibalized. Now, why can they get a 5% loan when you might get offered 8 or 9%? Collateral and relationship. They're not getting a car loan, not really. They're getting a secured line of credit backed by their entire portfolio at their private bank. The car is just the excuse, the specific thing they're buying today. The bank isn't loaning against the car. They're loaning against the $10 million in assets. The car is almost an afterthought. That's why the rate is low. Your car loan is just a car loan. The bank looks at your salary, your credit score, and the rapidly depreciating hunk of metal. It's a risky, isolated bet for them, so they charge a premium. Their car loan is a tiny slice of a vast, ongoing, profitable relationship with their bank. It's cheap capital. There's another layer: control and optionality. The cash buyer is done. Their money is gone, locked in steel and aluminum. If an incredible investment opportunity comes up next week, a dip in the market, a chance to buy into a friend's business, they can't use that $100,000. It's a car now. The millionaire with the loan has preserved optionality. Their capital is liquid, ready to be deployed. The car payment is just a tiny, predictable monthly outflow. They trade that predictable cost for immense flexibility. Think about it this way. What's more valuable, a paid-off car or $100,000? In a world of opportunities, cash is king. Liquidity is power. Debt, when it's cheap and strategic, is simply a way to rent that liquidity for less than what that liquidity can earn. This is the core mechanic that feels almost illegal to see. The wealthy use debt to preserve and leverage their capital. The middle class uses savings to destroy their capital by converting it into depreciating assets. Your car payment is a drain because it's likely your highest cost debt servicing a sinking asset, and it's the only debt you have. It's a weight. Their car payment is a tiny, optimized piece of a larger machine where low-cost debt works in service of high-earning capital. It's a cog. So what do you do with this? You don't go out and get a crazy loan for a car you can't afford. That's missing the point. You start to shift your perspective. First, you begin to see every major purchase not as a question of, can I save up for this? But as a question of, how can I structure this so my capital stays working? Maybe that means buying a cheaper, reliable car and investing the difference. Maybe it means once you have real assets, financing against them for major purchases instead of cashing them out. Second, you start to envy the wrong thing. Don't envy the car. Envy the balance sheet that allows for that specific advantageous financial structure. Envy the access to cheap capital. The goal isn't to have a car with no payment. The goal is to have a financial system so robust that the car payment is irrelevant, a negligible line item serviced effortlessly by the returns of your other assets. The millionaire's car payment makes them money because it's not really a car payment at all. It's a strategic decision to keep their money in the only place it should ever be, hard at work. Your payment just pays for a car. Theirs pays for the system that buys them freedom.